Hello, everyone. I am Adam with Demiplane, and thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. Speaking of questions, this is the last Tuesday of the month, right? Yeah, last day of the month. Is that right? Let me look at this. Yeah, wow. Time is flying. So this is the last day of the month, and typically on the last stream of a month, I try my best to cover as many questions as I possibly can. So if you're joining today and you have questions that you want answered, go ahead and start pumping those into chat, and I will get to as many as I can at the end. So we've got a magical thing that is capturing those questions. As long as you type the word question in front of your question, then it is going to go into our little thing here, and we'll get to those at the end. I also have some questions from our forums that I am going to cover also, because they have been really good questions there, and I think it's going to benefit everyone on this stream as well to hear some of the responses that we have there. So I'll probably start with some of the forums questions, but if you have questions, you can ask those all along the way as we do updates. So like always, we'll talk latest updates. We'll talk what is upcoming, take a look at the near-term roadmap, and not a lot of changes at this early stage, but we want to keep everyone completely updated on what we're working on, and we'll jump right in here. I see questions coming in, so thank you for that. That means that I did whatever I was supposed to do correctly, so that's good to know. All right, let's jump in. So with latest updates, so this is soon. This is in the soon category, as in we almost thought we were going to have it out today, but didn't quite hit that. So we're going to say this week. I don't give dates to anyone out there. That is something that people probably know that about me if you have ever seen me on one of these streams. But we will say we're close enough on this one that we will say this week we are going to go live with an update that's going to do several quality of life changes. But the big thing that will be going live in the digital reader is tooltips. So tooltips are really, really great, essential part of the digital reader. And what you're going to be able to do is, as you're reading through the core rulebook or the advanced player's guide or any of the other sources that we have available in Pathfinder Nexus, you're going to be able to see a spell show up. And that spell is going to be, we actually have a slightly different visual indicator for tooltips as well. So it's not going to look like just a normal link. It's going to have, a color associated with which type of game element it is. So spells and feats and so on are going to have different colors, but you will see those appear, and you will see those with a kind of a dotted line under them, where that's going to hopefully key you in on the fact that that is a tooltip. And so as you hover over that, there will be on desktop, there will be some kind of hover cards that come up, which is why we call them tooltips there. But then also with these, if you click on them or on mobile tap on them, you're going to be able to see a sidebar drawer come out that's going to have the full details of whatever that game element is. So this update that we're putting in this week is going to include all of the game elements except for items. So we've gotten most of those in there. Items are a little trickier because we are trying to do something very useful with items, which is organize them all into a single place, where if you are looking for any kind of item on Pathfinder Nexus, you're going to find it in that one centralized location. So that's going to matter when we get to game compendium listings a little bit later in early access. But as we're doing that, that means we've got to set up some standardization between the different types of items to make sure that they can all come together appropriately, and make all the filtering and everything else that's going to eventually be available in the compendium listings possible. So items are going to come a little bit later for tool tipping, but all of those other game elements, spells, and feats and backgrounds and several others are going to be available this week, very soon, this week, and you can check that out in early access. So If you haven't participated in early access yet, you can do that within the digital reader. That's the only feature that we have available at this stage. But you can do that with the free Pathfinder primer, or if you pre-order any of the other content, you can start using that in the digital reader now, and you'll be able to check out these tooltips. As always, we want to hear your feedback, so let us know how the tooltips are working for you. I think they're going to be a really, really great addition, and especially as we get the rest of the features in place for what is going to become Pathfinder Nexus tooltips, and this notion that details pages can come out in that sidebar is going to be a really, really handy part of that. We have some other quality of life updates as well going into this release this week. And one of the really cool ones that I will call out here is that if you are on a desktop, so essentially a 1600 or above view, pixel view on any kind of screen, so that's going to include some of those iPads out there as well. So once you're on that, you will actually see a floating sidebar navigation for the book content as well. And so that's something that we haven't added in there yet, but that will be going in this week as too. And that is going to really, really speed up the navigation between the different chapters and sections of the digital reader. So excited to see that happen. We are still working on Lost Omens content. We have crawled through, I think, most of the Mwangi Expanse at this point, and most of that is us setting up. So we'll kind of peek behind how the sausage is made a little bit. Most publishers in the worlds of the TRPG space are going to use InDesign files that they send over to a printer to eventually print the books. Those InDesign files, when you're trying to translate that to something that is usable in a digital format, are not incredibly conducive to that process. And so there's a good bit of massaging that has to happen. And so we're in the middle of that process for this Lost Omens content. And so now that we are starting to round the corner and get it to where those kinds of things have been ironed out, we're going to be able to start inputting more of that content at a much more rapid pace when it comes to the Lost Omens content. So we're in the middle of that. We'll have some updates on that before we close out this year for sure. And then I will share that if you keep up with any of the streaming that we do, we've got some great stream content, not necessarily this stream or anything, but we had Demiplane yesterday with Matt Mercer. He is always an incredible guest. So if you missed that, you can check out the VOD for that on our YouTube channel. But also we have Heroes of the Plains, and we've got a special announcement tonight. So if you're a Heroes of the Plains fan, show up. We're going to, share some important news. And so we will see you there tonight I'm going to have to do time zone conversion here. That is 6 p.m. Pacific tonight. And we're going to have a special announcement. All right, let's jump forward into some of the upcoming things. So no surprises here. We still have the plan and the roadmap for what's going on in early access. But what I can tell you is that right now the digital reader is available. And so with that digital reader being available, we are adding the tooltips in very, very soon here. We are going to start kind of shifting focus into these game compendium listings. And this is where you can go and find spells and items and feats and classes and ancestries and eventually archetypes, all of that coming together throughout early access. And so that's the next major piece that we're going to get into. We're really excited about that. We love how this is coming together. We think it's going to be really easy on the eyes, but also incredibly useful with the filtering that's going to be in place and everything else that's going on with that. And everything that we have coming together for tooltips is laying the foundation for what is going to go into those listings. So this entire early access really is a stair-step approach where one thing is building off the other. And as we start getting all this game data in place that will become these compendium listings, then that is where towards the end of early access, we will start, digging into, hardcore character management and what's happening there. We are conceptualizing all that now. We're doing designs for that. We were walking through some design elements for the character builder and character sheet even earlier today. So really excited to see how that's coming together. We will hopefully be able to share some of those early looks at some of those design mocks, in the weeks to come here on the development update. But really excited about how the concept is coming together, and then we're going to be, clearly going and executing that on the technical side. So things are looking, really good for Pathfinder Nexus. And excited to continue the course of early access. If you're out there helping us with this, the help is just incredibly important to us. So the only way that Pathfinder Nexus is successful is if it is doing what the fans and the community needs out there. And so being able to get that feedback about what's going well, what isn't quite working right, all of that is incredibly valuable, and it has already helped us a ton. And so, seeing some of that feedback come through, we are now that we have so many more users than we had initially. We're starting to get a bigger sample size of everything. All of this helps us to make sure the platform is stable and it's exactly where it needs to be as we prep and gear up for that full launch next year. So looking forward to that. We've got, after we get Lost Omens content in place, this is where we are going to jump into the adventures content. And right now, we are targeting to start with standalone adventures first, primarily because they're going to be kind of low hanging fruit. And we'll be able to get one of those done and it actually be usable a little quicker than an adventure path. But we are going to jump into adventure paths pretty much around that same time. We'll keep you posted when we get to that point with adventures content and once that is available for pre-order in early access. And then finally, I wanted to mention today, because it is already the end of November. So this year feels like it has been a blurry streak, but we're already at the end of November here. And, about kind of the backside, back half of December, Demiplane is going to be going dark as far as streaming and as far as any, kinds of social media engagement or any of that. Now, I want to clarify, all services will be fully monitored. So, we're not going to have any, expected downtime or gaps in any of that coverage. But gearing up for the holiday season, where the team who's been working really hard to get, to this point where we can, share this news of these, Pathfinder Nexus, World of Darkness Nexus. There may be other special announcements in a few weeks here. Whatever that is, the team has been working really, really hard on all of that. And so this is a great time of the year to kind of recharge batteries. And so wanted to give a heads up about that. And I'll share more about that. I think the final dev update is going to be the 14th of December. And, things pretty much after the 17th or so are going to start winding down at that stage. Again, just as far as the team engaging out on social media and the streaming content, everything else, all of our support desk and what's going on with the service itself is going to be fully there and available and monitored. But wanted to give everyone a quick heads up on that. And I know personally this is a wonderful time of the year, and recharging those batteries for me personally is a really important thing. And so we'll be able to hit the ground running in January, because we have a big year next year, and I can't wait to see everything that is in store there. All right. I believe we are at the question time. So, yeah, we've got 15 whole minutes for questions here. So, I've got some that are coming through. If you have a question, type it into chat, put the word question in front of it. But in the meantime, I see some coming in. I wanted to address a couple of questions from the forums that I think have been really good questions that I haven't seen pop up here in the dev update that I think, this audience and anyone who catches this on a YouTube VOD one of these days would really benefit from. And so one of them is from Joshua on the forums. Will there be the ability to have maps and token movement on this platform? And then there's a second question I'll get to there in that same forum post. So maps and token movement. This is a question that we've seen come up several times, and that is, will Pathfinder Nexus, World of Darkness Nexus, or anything else that we do include some type of virtual tabletop? And what I can say is that at this stage, we do not currently plan to have a VTT. And there are several reasons for this. But one of the things that I will say, very importantly, is I'm saying we do not currently plan for that. I can't speak for the future. I can't speak for what that's going to look like next year or anything else. But at the moment, we know that there are many virtual tabletops out there, potentially hundreds at this point, that I probably have bookmarked in my Chrome browser bookmarks bar. But many virtual tabletops. There are preferences that people like with them. Our intent right now is to take what we're doing with these Nexes. Is Nexes the plural of Nexus? I suppose it is. Nexuses, however we would say that, the digital tools that we're creating, and let them integrate as much as possible with some of the virtual tabletops out there, and really exist alongside of those virtual tabletops. So that is the intent as it stands today. But I will also caveat, and please don't take this as anything loaded at all, because our priority is to create the premier character management experience, digital reading experience, game compendium experience, all these things that we're doing with the Nexus platform. Those are all of the priorities. So don't take this as loaded, but I will say that our mission is to do whatever we can to enhance games and make games better out there. And so if that eventually includes going down that kind of path, we're not going to say no at this stage. It's way too early and presumptuous for us to say that. But I will say that it is not currently planned. It's not on the current horizon. We're focused on doing those things that we're setting out to do and doing them really, really well. So I wanted to put that out there because we've seen that question come up many times. And then finally, will we be able to, this is from Joshua as well, will we be able to print out physical character sheets? And this is a very important thing, and the answer is yes. Now, I can't say that we will be able to do that, the moment that the digital character builder or sheet hit early access, for instance, but we understand that being able to have a PDF that you can print a physical character sheet is an absolute requirement. And yes, we are definitely planning to do that. And then here's another one from Darth Trevino. Nice username. And it says, really excited to see this come to fruition. We are too. Will there be a combat tracker and or scene management tools? And so this is a really good question that I wanted to address here on the development update stream as well. And what I can tell you is that while I just gave the response about a virtual tabletop, one thing that I will say is going to be within the wheelhouse of what we're going to be doing with these digital tools. Absolutely could include or will include, at least eventually when we get there, combat tracking. And of course, scene management tools, that can possibly mean a variety of things for people, but game master related tools and storyteller tools are absolutely a target for us. Again, we want to make every part of the game better, and that is a really significant part of the game. And so the way that we think about it is, as we're getting digital reading, the game compendium, and then again, the cornerstone of everything we're really doing here at the beginning is character management and making that a really great experience. And so after we get that in place and after we accomplish that, then we're going to start looking at what I will call challenge management, or whatever the different games are going to call the opposing forces to the player characters. So once we get characters in a good spot, we will take those challenges and start looking at ways that we can, help out with that and enhance that part of the experience. So the answer to that part is a pretty definite yes, that those things will be included. All right, got several questions coming from chat, so I'm going to jump into those now. So Adelaide 1337, I think that stands for leaked. Will we be able to rename our game portals instead of making a new one each time? This is an excellent request, and it is something that is on our list, and something that that we will incorporate over time. I can't give you an ETA on that or a priority on that right now, but I can confirm that being able to rename a game portal is on the list. All right. Manuel J. Solus J. Are you considering including Pathfinder in other languages, maybe Spanish or German? At this current stage, we are focused on delivering the core tools without that localization. Now, when it comes to, and again, that's just in the short term. So when it comes to translations of the game content itself, we are going to take cues from the different publishers that we're working with. And so, as Paizo, makes those available, we will, try to incorporate those the best that we can. But, very transparently, making, localizing the complexity of the tool set that we are working on is a very big undertaking. And so I don't want to say it won't happen for sure. But I will say that, as we get out there, as we see that demand and how much of that demand there is, that's going to help us make decisions about localization. But localization is a very big undertaking. And for in layman's terms there, what I mean by that is, if we have a Pathfinder book that is in Spanish, the chances of us being able to put that onto the platform where you can read it in the digital reader, where you can see the content in other places, that is absolutely something that we will be looking into doing over time. But if we're talking about translating button labels and the different controls within the tool set, that is something that is again quite the undertaking, and it's not something that is on the short-term horizon for us. But we're going to again continue to listen to community feedback and make decisions based on that. All right, DMK, or let's see, DM Krios Jan. Sorry if I butchered that. Is Pathfinder Nexus a project that you guys are spearheading, or is that a partnership with another group of developers? That's a good question, and no, like we're developing this in house for sure. And so we brought in Paizo as a partner to work on Pathfinder Nexus. We've been working with World of Darkness brand for World of Darkness Nexus. And those publishers we have partnered with, and we have an in-house team of developers. I'm trying to remember how many developers we have right now. It's over a handful, but I don't think more than two handfuls. And so those developers have been doing a great job of getting this off the ground. We're building this all in-house. This is homebrew content for us here. Telfer Dan, I feel like I know who that is, unless somebody is impersonating Dan out there. And hello, Dan. It's good to see you in this chat here. Has the work on Pathfinder made you more afraid of Krampus? I should have known that he was going to have a funny question because he is a comedian. All right, so no, I am not afraid in any way of Krampus, and I am sure I will not live to regret that one day. Not at all. All right, Chris Baja, what can us eager people do to help get Pathfinder Nexus off the ground? Community memento. Honestly, what you can do to help the most is, as we start putting these new features into place over the next few months to provide feedback. Because again, the earlier we get that feedback, the better this is going to be long term. It allows us to pivot and make shifts if we need to earlier in the process, where we don't have to refactor a lot of things. So I imagine if you are eager, as you say, first of all, that's wonderful. We love to hear that. But you're probably already engaging in those activities. So, just keep doing what you're doing. And I know it's always hard to wait for things that we love. I barely got my tickets to No Way Home. I guess a couple of nights ago or whenever that was. Barely got them, but I got them, and I'm waiting. I guess 16 more days, and that wait is just killing me. And that's just a couple of weeks. And so I know that waiting for something for a few months that you're excited about, I feel it. But at the same time, getting that early feedback is really, really important for that eventual launch. And so getting that feedback is the most important thing that the community can do to help with that. Also from Chris. Oh, this was probably just, let's say, community members. I'm sure very excited to help in whatever way we can. Yes, absolutely. And I love to hear it. All right, Storm Knight UK. Oh, I know Storm Knight UK too. Hello there. Do they keep you supplied with enough sweet tea these days? Love hearts. Yeah, I have access to all the sweet tea one would ever need. Probably too much, because I'm trying to get in shape, and it just seems like a never ending path that is really not leading much anywhere. But yes, plenty of sweet tea. Thank you for checking up on me. Uh, Dan Scath, will there be any kind of help on society scenarios for the venture officers to promote the use of Nexus on society? I don't mean for free like we have in Paizo, but a discount. That is an excellent question, and one I don't have a great answer to yet. But what I can say is we are looking for ways to involve Pathfinder Nexus in society play as much as we can. And I think incentivizing is a path that we would be very open to. But this is just not something that we've discussed and confirmed enough with Paizo to share any details with yet. But it is something that's going to be important. One of the things that we talk about in the upcoming part is just, what the roadmap for early access is. We don't talk about really what's next after that too much yet. And what I can tell you is one of the things that would be pretty much right after that we would start digging into is helping out with society play. And as we get to that stage, I think that helping in any way we can to get people to be able to use that, but it also to help them track things in society play and everything else. Those are all things that we will be looking into very hard. Adelaide 1337, how does one become a playtester for Pathfinder? So I am assuming that you're meaning Pathfinder Nexus here, and that's how I answer that question. If you're talking about Pathfinder in general, then this wouldn't be the place to ask that. But I know that Mark Moreland or one of those great folks there over at Paizo could answer that. But for Pathfinder Nexus, the best way to do that is just to keep an eye on these dev updates on our social media channels and on our forums. The forums is probably the best place because that's where we're going to share the most information. But on our forums for when we release new features, these new features in early access will be available for everyone at least through Pathfinder Primer and some of the other. We haven't fully revealed all the details about what is going to be free versus what isn't, because we're just early in this process. But a lot of that's going to come to fruition relatively soon. And so as that is available out there, you're going to be able to engage with it and try it out and use it. And so there's nothing past potentially registering your account and keeping an eye on when those features are being pushed into early access. And then after that, if you have feedback, that's where we want to hear that. The forums are probably the best place for that, but we definitely pay attention to all the places where you can share thoughts. And yeah, again, it is a huge help for us, because the more that we know in these early stages, the better we are going to be equipped to make sure that we deliver on the promise of a very useful and successful tool set. So, all right, I think I got through all the questions, and I'm just a minute over. So we did very well today. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. Tune in to Heroes of the Plains tonight for, again, a special announcement that's at 6 p.m. Pacific. So looking forward to that. Otherwise, I will be here next week at the same bat time, same bat channel, legally distinct bat channels out there. We will see you next week. Later, Gators.